Welcome back to Simply at Home. What you're going to be seeing here, those of you who are already aware, these are actual as is whereas without any editing. You will see 7 days of attempts. Basically, the idea is for me also to keep coming back on a daily basis. But of course, daily basis is not possible. What you're seeing, these 7 days are across probably 30-40 days. So day one, what we did is, this is not new to us. This is kinesthetic sand or active sand. Unboxing of this and all I have already done. I will leave that link in the description box below for those of you who might come back in the comments asking where did you buy, how much did it cost, etc. is in a different video. So this is not new. Again, this is, while it is coming under sensorial, it is a very calming activity. So since we are going to start our life after 3-4 years again, here and there I try to keep giving this anything that is not going to make the mind work. That is how the introduction is when it comes to tactile or sensory. So there's going to be no pressure. So day one was nothing, just showed 2 things. He just selected active sand and we're just doing it. Day 2, again I gave him options. He still touched the same thing. So we're just going to sit. If we are able to even sit for 2 to 3 minutes is a big win, because we are kind of healing and coming back on health front. So I'm also trying to, what is the next thing that I've done on day 2 is I have tried to use a cookie cutter here to see which shape is going to come better. It's more like a 3D effect. Right now I'm doing the thing, he's just pulling it out. And I'm also using words. I'm not going to expect the child to come back and say the word, but right now I'm just introducing the known words again. Sand, square. So here you saw him get up and go, which means the activity is over. So we are going to say finish and we're going to do clean up. So this is only on days where the child is able to, but we have to ensure the child at least sits next to us to see the cleanup activity. Again, on the 3rd attempt, this day he was so tired thanks to a lot of health issues. He didn't even come next to it. I tried showing, saying let's do it and all. I had a different plan for day 2 and day 3. It didn't work. So we have to have our plans in place so that we know what are the materials we need to bring in. So day 3 I had wanted to introduce counting and the pincer activity. Let's count and put so many things inside, but he was nowhere interested in the counting. The idea finally is, at least he came and sat. So this is what happened on day 3. But I did the counting. I still continued the sound at my end. No pressure on the other side. No asking him to count. No asking him to press. No square. No sand. So coin. And I just kept on counting and I put the coins inside saying, see, it's there. Can you feel it? And all those things. But basically nothing worked. Those were different pennies that I had. So let's see what I'm trying on day 4. Day 4 again was a different plan totally. I wanted to, since the previous day I wanted to introduce coins, I wanted to get into counting mode. Since that didn't happen, I thought of taking these new set of chumkies from my other art and craft project work. So this one was a contrast color, so it was very, very appealing to the eye. Thing is, it is very even more flat than coin to feel. But for a visual learner and a visual child, this is more like, I can see it, I can feel it, not to worry. So we just continued and I said circle. I know the sound is the same, but it's not this k for C. So I'm not getting into the phonic aspect, but I still continued to the circle. Can you see that circle thing, circly thing? Can you take that and give it to me? Give it in my hand. Let's feel it. Is it there? Let me dig it. I just did that part of it. And then generally involving each other. He was still attempting free play. I did what best I had to do by putting it inside, saying, oh, it's gone under it, below it, above it, and so on. So the idea is on day 4, we sat for a very, very, very long time, and I was like, my back was like, can I get up and go? So some days can be really where the child can sit even for 15-20 minutes is like a huge win for us. because that's going to calm down, and we can have the child later on focus for sitting and doing other activities. Is sitting a must? Not a must, but if we sit down, the focus and attention for in future for reading or for anything, even for cutting vegetables, you need to sit for a longer time. We don't want anybody to stand or get what do you call that, sciatica, varicose veins, whatever. So we continued that for a very long time. That was day 3. So we will move to day 4. But before going, we are in day 4. We wanted to do the counting, right? Yeah, so that didn't happen. So let's see what I did next. On day 5, this was again after a week, I guess. Yeah, so this time I just added, because he was little active that day, he was able to move, walk. So I said, let's come take the yoga mat, made him look up and down and then roll, unroll. That was the extra thing. And of course, I tried to introduce the counting of number 2. These things are all almost literally a decade ago introduced numbers. But then I decided I will do it again. So while he was freely playing, I showed the digit number 2. And this time I'm trying to use something even more concrete, which is little thicker, his own beads. So I'm using the same colored beads for counting here rather than 2 different colors, so it's easy to understand. This was something shared to me by another nice parent, saying when you're using counting, use the same shape, same stuff, same everything, so that they understand counting better. So since I wanted him to understand more, and we were also introducing and talking about square, so I made squares and circly beads. So we are putting those beads, counting and putting it there. So I'm the one counting. I'm not expecting nothing from the child. If the child is able to get back and repeat it on their own, echolalia, whichever, is a big win if the child is capable. Now if your child is much more capable than this, you can use this for anything else. I'm right now still focusing on getting him to move out of the bed, to sit down, to focus, to get calmed down on health factors and stuff. So next thing is, again here, no what do I call this, no expectations. So I still went ahead saying 2, and when he was a child, there was introduction of 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 I didn't use 2 nose. What else is 2 hands and 2 legs, right? So we counted that also, this side and that side. That easily he stopped imitated, so that I couldn't capture, but that is something we added on for the digit 2. So for day 6, I think we were out of the hospital at this, so didn't expect anything. He still wanted to go out of the house because he'd been literally indoors for days together. This activity I just gave it to him because I wanted to sit and do pranayama, and that day I had somebody come home to help me on that one day, and he's very happy with his aunt sitting there. I was surprised because his intention was like, oh my god, she's asking me to sit, so I sat with her. And the moment I got up after my pranayama, he's like, no, I'm not going to do this, and he got out. He took my hand, communicated very beautifully, he wanted to go out, but very patiently with her, since I've asked him to sit with her, he sat and she sang songs, and he was finding it different and unique because they played something like making sandwich out of this, making chapati suddenly, making something paratha, something they were doing and playing and singing, and I could hear it in my ears while my focus was clearly on my pranayama, because I've been also in and out of so many things. This is actually after about a week, more than a week, 10 days, we are sitting on this activity again. So that's why I said, while the attempt is 7 days, and technically 7 days attempts are to ensure we keep coming back on a daily basis to sit with the child. This really for us took across. While my goal to do this was after the 3rd day to bring about all these other kinesthetic sand and colors that I already had, I really couldn't go figure out. That's why I said always have a plan in hand. So when you have the plan and keeping the activity ready for the next day, we don't need to run on that last day. So on day 7, technically he was still lying down, though we were out of hospital and all. Next day, that day he just still sat with his aunt. This day he couldn't even get up. He was still recovering. But I just thought, okay, for him to not always keep lying down, at least let me pull all these things and finish off. I didn't want to drag this 7 day. Basically, it was my reason why this 7th day happened. And surprisingly, and I was sitting and just showing the different colors that was there inside, and we didn't pull these kinesthetic sands. I think this one we got it from Japan or something. This is a little more thicker than the active sand, but technically they're all the same once you start using. So I didn't mix up the colors. If you see, the hand itself of the child is like in a different position. You might wonder why, because he's still lying down. He's still lying down, and I'm just sitting right next to him and just being there, doing my thing. About 15-20 minutes later, there was an involvement, and about after 25 minutes, he sat up. It's a big win. Initially, we'll think, oh, the child doesn't do it. The thing is, we need a lot of patience, people who are working along with the child. So a lot of people's thought process is, when they take the child for therapies and other things, half an hour, what do they do inside? I could have done this. No, sometimes children need time, they need their space. It's okay if it is half an hour to just sit like that. So we just did embossing kinds, and that's about it. 7 days of what we did. You can see this, comment below. Saying that, signing off, this is Ramya, simply